Like I said, my name is Joe Hernandez. I've been in wildfire for about 21 years now. Go through a little slide presentation here on myself. So some of my titles, I work for the University of Idaho along with Heather. I'm a training coordinator where I help develop fire behavior related courses and then deliver them in workshops. I'm also an AD employee with the U.S. Forest Service. I go out and do long-term fire analyst, task force, and exercise some of my other quals on the fire line. I'm a fire behavior instructor at the Arizona Wildfire Academy. I teach S290 and 390. These are some of my qualifications. My main interest in fire and in life is fire behavior, fire effects, and I love fire history. I'm also kind of GIS and photography buff. I love to work through some of those. This is just kind of a flow chart of kind of how my career has gone so far. I started out in a hand crew, working for the Prescott Fire Department. I gathered a couple qualifications along the way. Eventually, I started working for a fire district here in Arizona, became a captain paramedic along with engine boss and several other qualifications. Eventually, I moved on to the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management. That's Arizona State's version of the Forest Service, or CAL FIRE. So when I was working for Arizona State Forestry, I was a hand crew captain. I ran one of the inmate crews. During that time, I was also the training officer for about half the state. And I also worked on a lot of fire planning, writing fire management plans and burn plans. Eventually, I left full-time work to take care of my 2-year-old son at the time. And since then, I've had a lot of part-time and temporary jobs. I've worked as an engine boss for local fire districts. I started my own wildland fire training and consulting company where I help people write fire plans, do risk analysis, and put on training courses for private contractors, fire refreshers and fire behavior. I started working this year with University of Idaho, like I said earlier, to help develop and deliver S290, as well as other fire behavior related projects and classes that we're putting on. And I am an AD with the Tonto National Forest, where I go out as a task force leader trainee and a long-term analyst trainee. And in my spare time, I also work for the Rio Verde Fire District as a reserve firefighter paramedic. As for what's next, I don't really know. My career has kind of taken a lot of different paths. These are some of the qualifications that I'm working towards and some of the overall goals. I want to be a division supervisor, which is the next qualification above task force leader. And this is something I need in order to become a qualified fire behavior analyst. A fire behavior analyst is a person who analyzes the fire environment and makes predictions and interprets those predictions for how the fire is going to behave for incident management teams and incident commanders. I'm interested in becoming a prescribed fire burn boss for moderate and complex burns. And this is someone who writes and then implements burn plans, in the wildlands. And then eventually I'd like to become a strategic operational planner, which is someone who works with incident management teams and agency administrators from jurisdictions where there are wildfires to help them plan for long-term incidents, both strategically and tactically. And then the last thing, I was asked to tell you what I love about fuels and fire. And there's a couple things that came to mind when I, over the last 20 years. One thing is I love seeing things that most normal people don't get to see. You see the picture of the rain and the lightning and the fire all in one picture. I was standing next to the professional photographer when he took that. This is on a fire that I was the initial attack incident commander on. And it's just the kind of stuff you don't get to see every day and few people get to. I love putting fire on the ground, especially good fire. Fires that clean up the forest floor and help the ecosystem out. And then down here, the Grand Canyon with my inmate crew. I just love the camaraderie. I love, being with my brothers and sisters out on the fire line. I love how no matter who you end up with working on a fire, usually within the 1 to 2 weeks you're on an incident, you get to become really good lifelong friends with a lot of people. And so that's what I love about fire. And that's a little bit about myself.